Hi everyone, very good evening and welcome to India Voice Fest 2020, the online edition. ये 7 दिन का महाकुंभ है भाई, 7 दिन, not 1, not 2, not 3, but this is a week-long extravaganza, the biggest celebration of the voice industry in India. And this is day 4 and we are in the last session of the day and probably we've saved the best for the last. This session is going to be extremely special. In fact, for the very first time in the history of the Indian voice industry, we are going to have with us an international voice star today who's going to chat with us about her work, about her talent, and about the world she works in. Yahi nahi, we're also going to have, for the very first time, Desi meets International. यानी कि एक ऐसी आवाज, एक ऐसा कैरेक्टर जिसकी आवाज हमारी आने वाली शख्सियत है अमेरिका में और उसी कैरेक्टर की आवाज हमारे ही एक वॉइस आर्टिस्ट है इंडिया में, वो दोनों भी आज पहली बार मिलेंगे ऑन स्क्रीन और बहुत सारी बातें होंगी. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the privilege, absolute pleasure and delight to invite on the screen, straight from the United States of America, international voice star and the English voice of Ash Ketchum from Pokemon, the one and the only Sarah Natochenny.
Hello.
Hey Sarah, good morning, if I may say. It's early morning.
Yes, it's 9:30 in the morning here, but I'm up.
You are up, and how? And Sarah, let me begin by taking this opportunity to thank you from all of us in India, especially in the Indian voice industry, for being so generous, so kind, and so gracious in waking up so early for a morning session,
yes.
and in coming on board for India Voice Fest, India's biggest celebration of the voice industry. Welcome.
It is my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Sarah, before we begin, I have to tell everyone who's watching now, and we have a lot of people watching. Like I was telling you in our test run sometime back, that almost 5,000 people from all over India have registered to watch India Voice Fest 2020 this year. That's a lot of people, I guess, for anywhere in the world.
Yes, congratulations. That's a huge success.
Thank you, and we are indeed very proud to have you with us. So I have to put this out to people that when I connected with Sarah, now Sarah is an absolute international star. She is a star voice artist in the United States, and I really didn't think it would be so easy and so smooth getting through to her and getting her to agree to make an appearance at India Voice Fest 2020. But she was so warm, so friendly. That was an absolute delight, Sarah, and I must appreciate you for this. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You guys are putting on such a wonderful festival. So
how lovely. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sarah. And like I was telling you, India has a great entertainment culture, and localized content or dubbing of content has come of age in India in the last decade or so. And in the last few years, it's really exploded. And today we have millions of fans of animated characters, and especially Pokemon and Ash Ketchum. Now, when we announced that the voice of Ash Ketchum, the English voice, is going to be with us, our feet literally exploded. And it's an amazing feeling to have you here, and we are waiting to pick on your mind, to know about you, to know what makes you tick, and to understand what is it that makes you such a star voice. So, can I start?
Sure, let's discover this together.
Absolutely. Sarah, first things first. You're looking gorgeous, by the way, absolutely ravishing. So my first question is, do you think having a lovely face adds a lot of credence to being a voice artist?
I don't know. I don't think so. They usually don't see you. So, and it actually used to be very popular not to put your photo on your website or anywhere near your voice reel, so that people couldn't tell what you looked like. But now everybody has a website and everybody has social media, so it's, but I don't think it affects how much I book. Otherwise, maybe I'd be a bigger star.
I understand. But now, I mean, you're a social media star there. You're making appearances all the time. Guys, I need to tell this to you that Sarah is an absolute star. So, which is an amazing thing to learn for us, because you have like appearances, you have autograph signing appearances, you have merchandise, you have an amazing online store. Why didn't you tell us about that online store to begin with, Sarah?
Sure. Well, I wanted to make myself available, especially during the pandemic, to people who wanted to come to conventions to meet me. So we are doing some online conventions, but it's not fully functional. I think I'm not doing that many. So I just have autographs available online. I mail them out myself. We also sometimes use some services. And yeah, you can buy an autograph on any print you like. I'll add some. Actually, I'm about to add one from Camp Camp. I played Vera on Camp Camp. So I'll add a print like that. I also do voice acting consultations for people, like for half an hour, just have a conversation with me about the voiceover business. I do a video type thing. Like, if you want me to say happy birthday to somebody, I'm very limited in what I can say using Ash's voice, of course, but I can do that too. Yeah. Oh, I can read a story as well. I got into storytelling during the pandemic. I started reading stories online to children. So
how lovely is that? So I think this is a shout out to everyone who is watching. If you are keen to have Sarah's autograph or pick up something from her store or take up some consultancy for voice acting, you know where to go now. And this is also an amazing enterprising thing to do, Sarah. It's a great lesson for voice artists in India, because in India now we have a lot of voice artists who are absolute stars, especially social media stars. So I think this is a great lesson for all of us, how we need to build up our brand and work around marketing ourselves and project ourselves in a certain manner, and how you can rise from being merely a voice artist to become an absolute brand. So that's a great thing to learn from you.
Sure, absolutely. It took me a long time to get here. It did.
How lovely. Great. Sarah, from improv, storytelling, sketch comedy, theater, several plays, before getting into editing, directing, you share a very deep, cause for domestic animals, and voiceover work. So, and an absolute award-winning voice artist. So why don't you take us through your journey, and how did you land up becoming a voiceover artist?
Sure. Well, when I was 4 years old, my parents are musicians, classical and Broadway musicians. And I don't know if they wanted me to become an artist, but they pushed me in that direction. So I was a rhythmic gymnast until I was 13, from 4 to 13, and that ate up my whole childhood. And then I started going to acting school because I quit gymnastics. I didn't want to do that anymore. It was very difficult and painful on the body and on the mind and soul. So I went to acting school and I absolutely loved it. And then when I was 16, I started doing improv at Upright Citizens Brigade. And I took classes for 4 years, and I did indie teams and stuff like that. We did some sketch and musical improv. And I think that all has fed me and supported me in my career and everything I'm doing, especially in voice work. Being able to improvise is very important, and kind of let loose and be yourself and be able to throw words onto the page that aren't already there. Improv definitely helped me hone that skill. And then I had a wonderful teacher in high school, an English teacher, who introduced me to a manager who got me the audition for Pokemon when I was 18 years old, I want to say. And I happened to book it. The audition was terrifying. I didn't know how to dub. I had no idea what a dub even was, because like India, in America, it wasn't such a big business like it is now. So I did the audition. I left the audition. I cried. As I'm walking out the door, I remember crying and being like, I really messed that up. That was so bad. But in the back of my mind, I knew that there must be a chance, because they worked with me. They tried to teach me how to dub at the audition. So that gave me a hint, like maybe they saw something, they heard something that was really accurate. And then I had a callback, maybe a few callbacks. That's all a blur at this point. And I got it. And Animal Foster, well, we can go to editing. After I got Pokemon, I started doing the show. And I got a lot of, once the show aired, I got a lot of really negative commentary from fans.
Really? Okay.
Oh my goodness. Like horrible.
Tell us about that, okay?
Ooh, I got death threats. I got nasty comments. This is part of the reason why I stayed off social media for so long. And yeah, and it kind of derailed my ability to, I realized that I don't really have the facility to handle stuff like that. I needed to strengthen my mind and, my psyche before I was to continue an acting career. It scared me. So over time, on-camera acting kind of fell by the wayside. I sat at home a lot. I stayed off the internet a lot. And I continued doing my job as best as I could. And just hope that one day, a day like this would come where I have actual fans who grew up with my voice, who love my work, and who want to show up for me. So I appreciate my fans more than you can imagine, because I went through that. And maybe that's why I'm nice online. I don't know. I'm typically pretty nice. You can ask some people. I'm not that nice to them, but for the most part, when people are kind to me, I return that.
How lovely. Sarah, this is a great learning. So I'm going to be translating some part of our conversation in Hindi, because we have a good number of people who will be more comfortable if I explain it to them in Hindi. So
I'll see you in 5 minutes.
Do that. No, I'll just take a minute. So because the lessons that we learn are very similar. Tenacity, perseverance, and you never say, and the never say die attitude. And also the fact that everything that you did initially, right from improv to editing, directing, and everything related to performing arts, it all comes together and helps you in your work as a voiceover artist, as a voice actor.
Very much.
So I'm going to just give that out to people, to a segment of people who will be happier to listen to me in Hindi. तो सारा ये कह रही हैं कि इन्होंने बहुत स्ट्रगल किया, शुरू में बहुत संघर्ष था इनको, बल्कि जो पोकेमॉन ऐश केचम की वॉइस के लिए जानी जाती हैं, शुरू में जब इनको वो काम मिला तो उसके लिए इनको बहुत हेट्रेड मिली और इनको बड़ा ट्रोल किया गया, बल्कि इनको जान से मारने की धमकी भी मिली ऑनलाइन। आप कमाल है कि आज जिस वॉइस के लिए सुपरस्टार बनी है, उसी काम के लिए इनको शुरू में धमकियां मिलती थी, बट इन्होंने हिम्मत नहीं छोड़ी और आज ऐसा दिन आ गया है जब लाखों लोग इनकी आवाज के दीवाने हैं, इनके फैंस हैं, और यही बात अभी इन्होंने कही है। See, that was quick.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
So, Sarah, you have millions and millions of fans today, and so and you are involved in so many things. So, what makes you happier? In terms of the order, no particular reason, but acting, editing, voice work, helping animals, that's a cause which is very close to your heart. What is it that really gives you the most creative satisfaction?
Ooh, okay. So the thing that makes me happiest is probably the animal rescue stuff. I promote animal fostering. Yeah. When everything I do started as a hobby. It started as just a practice, something I love to do as a passion. And then when things start becoming a business, they start to become sometimes less enjoyable. There are aspects of it that you're like, I have to do this now. So with animal fostering, there's very little of that. There is very little of that. And the reward of helping an animal get off the street, an injured animal or an animal that can't survive on the street, most of them can't and don't, especially in a city like New York, finding that animal a home and seeing, especially when I get to see the faces of the people who adopt that animal, that to me, that's like, my job is done. I very much run on accomplishment. I love the feeling of accomplishment. So I kind of need that a lot.
How lovely. That speaks so much about the compassionate heart that you have.
Sure. And I do ballet, which I thankfully didn't turn into a career because it would have really hurt me. And I really enjoy that because I don't have to do it. You know, nobody's hiring me for it. Nobody's looking to see how perfect I am, only me. So, but acting, it gives me the most pleasure in terms of work that I do. Definitely.
How lovely. So, you know, when it comes to, we all are keen to know about how the industry functions there, but that's something that when Nachiket and you get into the conversation, I think Nachiket and you could discuss that. But one thing that I'm very keen to understand, being a voice artist myself, how do you sustain the motivation to dub for such an important character? Now, Ash Ketchum is not just any character. There are millions of fans all over the world, and you've been giving your voice to that character for many years now. How do you handle the continuity of motivation, of ensuring that you maintain the same style, the same attitude?
I know him very, very well. He's my boy. Like, he is my son. I know Ash Ketchum inside and out. I've probably layered in backstory that maybe doesn't even exist. He's my guy. And the way I stay motivated, because of course life is full of ups and downs. You're not always happy. You're not always happy to be at work. Something could be happening that day. And it's true that when you do something for so long, it just happens. Like, I don't have to really think about it. It just happens. And my director is fantastic. Every director we've ever had has been very supportive, and I can fully trust them to get the performance that they need out of me. So it's the fans. The fans motivate me.
It's the fans. Yeah. They provide you fuel for your energy.
I know I have to do a brilliant job for them so that when they watch it and when their parents watch it, they're like, that's great. Oh man, I can't wait to watch more. That is the greatest motivation.
How lovely. That's a great attitude to have, Sarah, and especially for a voice artist, because I'm sure you will agree with me that, even if you're a superstar voice artist or voice actor, you're only as good as your last recording. And that's what I strongly believe in.
That's true.
So every recording, you've got to give it your best shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Sarah, tell me, things aren't really great in USA, in America, with the pandemic over the last several months. How are you holding up? Do you have a home studio? How does it work there?
Yes, so I have a home studio. I've been very fortunate to partner with a few wonderful companies. I have a Neumann TLM 103 and Auralex foam panels and an Audient ID4, which is a powerhouse little interface, really, really good. Yes. Most of the pandemic, I've been on a Sennheiser 416. Let's see what else. The thing that really saved me, I'm working in a walk-in closet. It's tiny. If you follow me on Instagram, I sometimes post from there. It's really nothing. It's really hard to show it because it's so small. Okay. But I have Producer's Choice acoustic blankets from Vocal Booth to Go. Okay. And oh my goodness, they block out, they don't advertise that they block out sound, but they actually do. They do a really good job. So I highly recommend that.
That's a good shout out for that. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, that makes sense, because in India we've never really had a culture of home studios. Right, it's only in the last several months, since the time the pandemic hit, that all of us literally went in to develop our own version of a home studio. Yeah. But then that's the great thing about Indians. is that we are very enterprising and we adapt very fast. And you would know that about Indians, that we get things done that
Yeah.
way. So whether it's your closet, wardrobe, or a small area in your study or a balcony, we know, whether it's having a quilt over your head or a blanket. We've got ways to get things around, and we've got a huge number of people who are voice artists and dubbing artists who do characters. So we've been going along well. So the pandemic, from the time it hit, has it affected your industry there, Sarah?
Oh yes, very much. In terms of the amount of production, I don't think so. We've been able to continue. The first 2 months were tough. Everything stopped. We didn't know what to do, but the actors got it together very quickly. Every casting director is saying that right now, that everybody suddenly had a home studio, and that was expensive for a lot of people, but we all invested. Yes. In the beginning, I had to invest as well. So it's changed, because animation and dubbing was never done from home. Very, very rarely was animation done from home, and dubbing never.
Same here, absolutely. Yeah. But then, like they say, that when you're up against a wall, you've got to fight back. So we had no other option. So all of us adapted. So it's nice to hear that we're all rocking in the same boat.
Very much so.
Because we sometimes think that in America, every other voice artist has a lovely home studio. So it isn't really exactly like that, especially when it comes to dubbing for characters or animation.
No, definitely not.
Great. I hope you're keeping. I'm sorry, this should have been the first thing I should have asked you, but I just jumped into the conversation. I hope you're keeping good health, and I hope everyone around you is in good health.
You too, and I hope everybody who's watching is also staying safe and healthy.
Absolutely. So, before we move into the conversation with Nachiket, one last thing, Sarah. There are hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of aspiring artists who are watching us, and they're very keen to pick on your mind about wanting to know what, according to you, are the top qualities that you think make for a good voice actor.
Ooh, okay. The ability to act. You have to have acting training and acting experience. It's not just about doing a voice. It's about creating a fully fledged character with a soul. So your imagination needs to be working all the time. Even if you're doing a commercial with one line in it, that one line is said by a person who has a perspective and who has a history and who came from somewhere just now to say that line. So that's the biggest quality. Improv is another very important quality. And the quality of your voice, not that important. A lot of people are like, I have a beautiful voice. They say I should get into voiceover. A lot of people have beautiful voices. It doesn't make you a voice actor.
Absolutely. Language. I mean, India has multiple languages. Right. We are a land of a sea of languages. So that's another very important thing. Tell me, Sarah, have you seen any Indian content, dubbed or animated content?
I haven't. I should have prepared that way. I'm sorry, I didn't.
I should have told you, actually.
Oh, no.
So what has happened, Sarah, is that, of late, last few years, we've had a thriving industry of original animation content, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. So for all this while, for the last 2 decades odd, we've been dubbing content, which is foreign content, which has been dubbed into our languages. Mm-hmm. But the way the market has grown exponentially, it is amazing that today we have a huge number of original content. So what it does is it gives us more leeway to play around with, because otherwise, if it's a foreign content, we are bound by the fence of what has already been done.
Right.
But so which is a nice thing that is happening, and I would really recommend that you do check out some Indian stuff, because it's going to really impress you. And
I'd love to.
Obviously, we have a treasure of some of the most amazing voice talents and voice artists in India. And I hope that you experience some of them as well when you watch that content.
I'm very excited. Thank you. Yeah, please send me some. Well, I'll look it up, but send me your favorite.
I will. So let me just put this out in Hindi before I invite Nachiket. Mm-hmm. So दोस्तों, ये सारा और मेरी बातें जो हुई, उनमें इन्होंने यही कहा कि अमेरिका में भी वही स्ट्रगल है, वही संघर्ष है जो इंडिया में है. हमको कई बार लगता है कि वहाँ पर हर एक के पास होम स्टूडियो है और हर एक बड़ी रईसी से काम कर रहा है. ऐसा नहीं है. डबिंग वहाँ पर भी होम स्टूडियो से नहीं होती थी. पर पिछले कुछ महीनों में सब लोगों ने जल्दीबाजी में अपना अपना होम सेटअप कर लिया है, जैसे हमने किया है। तो हम सब एक ही नाव में तैर रहे हैं, ये मैं कहना चाह रहा हूँ। और इन्होंने ज़्यादा इंडियन कंटेंट नहीं देखा है, पर इनको मैं भेजूंगा कुछ इंडियन कंटेंट और इनको बताऊंगा कि हमें से हमारे बड़े बड़े वॉइस आर्टिस्ट के नाम बताऊंगा और इनको बताऊंगा कि वो देखें। और वॉइस एक्टिंग की जहाँ पर मैंने इनसे बात की तो उन्होंने यही कहा कि एक्टिंग अच्छी आनी चाहिए, इम्प्रोवाइजेशन स्किल होनी चाहिए, ऑब्जर्वेशन स्किल होनी चाहिए, और मैं हमेशा ऐड करता हूँ कि आपकी लैंग्वेज पे अच्छी पकड़ होनी चाहिए, कम से कम 1 या 2 भाषाओं पर आपकी अच्छी पकड़ होनी चाहिए। तो अब हम इस सेगमेंट को खत्म करते हैं और अब हम नचिकेत को बुलाएंगे। तो रुकिएगा आप जरा। सो Sarah, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I cannot thank you enough for being so generous, so gracious, and so charming. And I am going to now invite Nachiket Dighe, the Hindi voice of Ash Ketchum, and it's going to be literally a momentous occasion when the Hindi and English voice of a superstar character, a superstar worldwide global character, which is Ash Ketchum, will be together on screen, and you guys will set the screen on fire. Let's invite Nachiket, please.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi, guys.
Nachiket.
Good evening, Darpan. Morning, Sarah.
Good morning to you.
Lovely,
We have
lovely
3
to
Ash
see
Ketchum
you.
here. Sorry, Darpan, I just wanted to interject.
How
This
lovely.
is the third one here. So there you go.
Of course.
That's a good shirt.
Of course. So I'm going to now leave the two Ash Ketchums for a lovely conversation, and I'm going to come back towards the end of your conversation to wrap it all up. So over to you, Nachiket and Sarah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Darpan.
Hi.
How's it going, Sarah?
I'm good. How are you?
All well, thank you so much. I was just listening to the conversation that you guys were having, and I was just thinking it's so similar to the journey that I've gone through, like the hate messages and all of that stuff, staying away from social media. It's just a pretty common parallel that we have, and I think we spoke about that earlier briefly. About I think it's the reason behind that was because both our characters were dubbed or voiced by someone else, and then fans always had that kind of a voice stuck in their mind that Ash Ketchum means this voice, and they just couldn't accept the new voice. So I think it's pretty similar that way.
Very similar. And I totally understand that sentiment especially when you're a young person and you're always watching a TV show, these characters become your friend. You're letting them into your home. And so you feel like you know them. And when the voice changes, it feels like that your friend is gone, and it can make a lot of people very angry. So I understand that. I've felt that myself. But to go online and to bully and to harass and to keep messaging people, the actors that you don't know, like, we're human beings, guys. We're people, the two of us, all of us. We're here to entertain you and do our best work for you. So it's just terrible.
I guess that just comes up with being the voice of Ash Ketchum. But I'm glad that for both of us it has just died down, and now fans have pretty much accepted both the Hindi and the English voice of Ash Ketchum. So glad that that's behind us now.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. True. But I did want to ask you about the first day that you voiced for Ash Ketchum. Like, what was that? Was it the audition? Was it the first episode? How was it? How was your experience?
I remember having trouble pronouncing the word electricity.
Why is that? I thought it would have been a Pokemon, which was like you had troubles with, but no?
No. Well, I grew up with Pokemon. It came out right when I was the perfect age for it to come. I was like 11 years old or something when it came out. So I was a Pokemon fan growing up. But there were certain things. I remember doing like 20 takes of Team Rocket, saying Team Rocket. That took so many takes for me to get right, just perfect, you know. My first session was very, very nerve-wracking because it was my first dub. I had no idea what I was doing, really. So the director helped me get through that. We had a wonderful director, Armin. He was great. And he very much held my hand through that whole process. The entire first season, I was like, I'm going to lose my job. I felt like I might not be able to hold on to this because I kept getting feedback like too high, too low, too this, too that. I'm like, no. Oh God. So,
but apart from, so what I want to understand is, because you've dubbed on the original Japanese voice. So I had two questions. So did you match the voice quality of the Japanese voice there, or did you have to do like a similar voice to the earlier voice actor? Like, what was going on there?
The
Because
latter.
for me, let me just quickly take a moment. For me, it was easy because what had happened was when we were doing the Pokemon dub again, it was shifting from one production company to the other. It was shifting from one channel to the other. So the creative and the brief was pretty simple. We had to do everything afresh. So I didn't really have I didn't have to copy any earlier artists. I just had to copy technically your voice and Ash Ketchum's English voice. But how was it for you?
I had to match my predecessor's voice. So if you watch from season 9 to now, the voice has definitely changed a little bit as I've made it more my own. But in the beginning, it was they wanted a very smooth transition. They didn't want it to seem like the voice changed. So that was my task.
Right. Amazing. Let me just take a minute for all the fans who probably don't understand English to just quickly summarize what we spoke about. So दोस्तों, आज दर्पण ने ऑलरेडी बताया है कि हम इंग्लिश में ही बात करेंगे. ऑब्वियसली सारा हमारे साथ हैं तो, बट ये हम जो अभी बात कर रहे हैं वो ऐश के वॉइस की है. और आपको बता दूं कि मैं जब डबिंग करता हूं तो मुझे सारा की वॉइस या इंग्लिश वॉइस आती है, बट इनको जापानीज वॉइस आती है. और बिकॉज इन्होंने भी किसी और की मतलब फर्स्ट वॉइस एक्टर कोई और था और इन्होंने ये कंटिन्यू किया था, तो उन्हें फर्स्ट वॉइस एक्टर की थोड़ी सी स्टाइल, थोड़ी सी आवाज भी कॉपी करनी पड़ती थी. तो ये बहुत थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होता है, बट शी इज मैनेज दैट सो वेरी वेल. थैंक यू सो मच सारा. गो ऑन.
Yes. What were we talking about?
The Voice of Ash Ketchum.
Oh, good.
Right. And when we were talking about the pilot, so you did mention that you guys get the original Japanese and then you guys dub it in English. So in terms of the dubbing process as such, and let's right now probably stick to dubbing, and then we can go into fresh content, fresh animation about what Darpan spoke earlier. So how is the process there? Like I've seen your video on YouTube, and that's I thought was pretty similar to what we do here, but I'm sure there'll be some differences in terms of dubbing as such.
Yes. So when I get into the studio, I have a script in front of me. I've never seen the script before. That's my first time seeing the script. The director tells me what's happening in the episode, and I don't even really have time to read through the whole script. I like to, but I kind of skim as much as I can. And then we take it cue by cue, line by line. So each line, I have 3 beeps, beep, 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 and then I speak. I'm watching the picture as I'm watching the line. Sometimes we use a Rhythmo band technology that has the text going across the screen. Personally, I do prefer that, but a lot of people don't. It's, I think, a matter of preference. For me, it kind of feels like a video game, and I like to continue and keep going, but they're always like, no, we're doing one or 2 lines at a time. hang on, because you have to tweak it. You have to move things around a little bit to make sure everything fits. So yeah, we do a couple of takes, depends on the line. If it needs more, then we do more. We always do at least 2 takes. And that's it. Well, each session, I don't like to work for more than 3 hours. 4 hours is like the maximum that people in America work as voice actors. That's a full session. But for dubbing for Pokemon, I try to keep it under 3 when I can. And we get through an episode or 2 a week.
Nice, neat. Yeah. And does what is the content of that episode? Does that also dictate the times? For example, say if you're doing an episode which has like a battle scene, will that mean that it's training your voice? It's always a little louder. You have to shout. So do you then cut down on your times there?
I'm so used to it that I think. Honestly, the battle scenes take less time because we first preview it. So I preview it with Japanese. And so I already, when I'm about to say it, I've already seen it. So I know how long it's going to take me to say it. So usually that requires no more than 2 takes. And I get it. Is that not with you the same way?
Absolutely. So I would always have directors telling me, you know what, this episode is a longer one. You're doing like an intense battle, and they're like, 20 minutes out of the 20 minutes, there's a battle scene which is like 7-8 minutes. And I would be like, oh, that's going to be easy. Because after you've done it for so long, you just know the flow with which you're going to speak. And it's easier when I get to hear your voice or the English voice. It's just always easier because I can then match the intensity, the expressions, and half my job is done. I remember asking you, why do you have those beeps there? Like, why are they required? And I remember Sarah, you telling me that you guys get English, we don't understand what's going on in Japanese. So we need to have like a ticker to go on. And for us, it's simpler because we have the script. So I just read, okay, Team Rocket, Jesse, James, Jesse, Ash, and then I speak. So that way it becomes slightly easier.
Yeah, you're lucky. You're bilingual. or try to be multilingual. I don't speak Japanese.
Right.
So.
But you do speak Russian for all the fans out there, just letting them know, FYI. Nice. All right. So the other question that I wanted to ask you was, while you're voicing for Pokemon, do you get a feeling that you're like a part of Ash Ketchum? Like, do you get like dreams of battles, or like do you end your recording in the studio, or do you take it back home?
Well, right now everything's at home, so it lives in my house.
Yeah.
So actually, yes, in a way, yes, because after I started getting all this negative attention, I fell into a depression. And over the course of the last 14 years, I've been booking a lot of protagonists, like leader type roles, like happy go lucky, come on guys, let's go kind of roles. And I'm like, why does that keep happening? That's so weird, because in real life, I'm kind of a mope, I'm kind of depressive and like, I don't want to get out of bed kind of person. And I'm not that way anymore. Thankfully, I've worked on all of that and gotten out of it. It was difficult and a long process. But that, playing Ash Ketchum and playing all these protagonists, put the idea in my mind that other people see something in me that is obviously there. Like, there is a leader, there is a happy person, a person who can make things happen. That's why I'm playing these roles, because it's very unusual for an actor to be playing something that they're really just not naturally. So I learned from Ash Ketchum. He's so tenacious. He never gives up. He loses all the time, but he keeps getting up and doing it again and again. And he loves his Pokemon, and I share that. That's natural. I share that with him. That was no question. So yeah, Ash and I actually have a lot in common.
And it's a great character. You're right. I mean, of all the things, it's pretty predictable. He may lose a battle, he may lose something, the overconfidence that sometimes he has. But in the end, it's his kind of audacity, it's his patience, perseverance that he never kind of lets go of things. Right. So you're right in a way.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. The next question that I had was, okay, in terms of voicing and dubbing, so just tell us about how different are these two things in terms of fresh animation being created versus dubbing content? Because like Darrpan mentioned earlier, in India, because we have so many languages, we've been getting foreign content for the past 2 decades, where they were dubbed in regional languages, when they were dubbed in Hindi. So the industry, so to say, it's slightly matured here. It's been going around for quite some time here. But I'm guessing that in the US, because most of it's in English there, so I just want to understand how different is it in the dubbing industry as such, as compared to, say, fresh animation or voicing?
Sure. So original animation has a very, very long history, over 100 years in America. And we've thrived in that. We have animation of all genres, and it's all different styles, and it's definitely being very inspired by Japanese anime now. If you watch our newer animation and all the young animators that are coming up now, they're so inspired by Pokemon. I actually met a few animators and storyboard artists recently in Los Angeles, where most of this work is done. And they took me on a tour of one of the studios. I won't say which one, but one of the studios, a big studio. And almost every single animator and storyboard artist had Pokemon drawings, had Pikachu all over the place. The inspiration that our show brings to these animators who are working on Nickelodeon and Disney and DreamWorks is amazing. I had no idea. So that's one thing. Prelay animation, that's original animation. For voice actors, it's called prelay because we voice it first and then they animate to us. Dubbing is when a show or a movie is done in a different language first, and then we perform on top of that. So we localize it so that American and English audiences can watch it all over the world. In terms of our union, SAG-AFTRA, they are 2 different contracts, and original animation is considerably higher. I personally don't think that that's the way it should be. I think that dubbing is actually much more for us. I think for you too, honestly. It's a nuanced conversation, but I think it's more an original performance than we give it credit for, because especially with Pokemon, I don't copy the performance of the Japanese actors. I give it the performance that American audiences want to see, and that was created. That was a creation. You know, that wasn't something that just came out of copying someone. So it also has an additional skill of having to time your performance to animation that already exists. So it's actually more difficult. The only thing that you really can't do anywhere near as much, only when the face is off screen, you can't see the face, you can't improvise unless you can't see the face. So originality, yes, originality should pay more, yes, because that is coming from you, that is unique to you. But this is not a fully original performance, but it definitely requires an actor's mind to do. And it has an additional skill of being able to time to picture. So those are the differences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, I do agree with the point where you mentioned that you give it it's almost the same character, but across the world, I'm guessing in whatever language Ash Ketchum is dubbed, I'm sure people of that particular country or that language will feel that particular voice is the best because they relate to their language. So it's not just the character that you see on screen, but it's also what you do with your voice on that character. And like you mentioned, that's probably why we received the flack that we received, because people had that Ash Ketchum in their mind. So it's about bringing in your unique skills or your unique voice qualities to that character. Of course, the visual remains the same, but the voice quality, the tonality, the pitching changes slightly. Which brings me to my next question on the voice of Ash Ketchum. So how did you manage that? Like, I get these comments on social media that you voice a 10-year-old, and I'm sure you're going to correct me on that Ash doesn't have an age. He's not 10-year-old. I would like to say it's 10-year-old because I was given a brief that you need to voice for a 10-year-old. So I was given a brief, so I keep telling Sarah that I know he's limitless. His age is limitless. He has no age. But just for simplicity, I'm going to say or assume that he's a 10-year-old boy. But anyway, so how's that experience? Voicing for a male character, like what changes do you bring in your voice to match that particular character on screen?
Okay, kids, this is the fun part. So I'm a female and you are a male and we play the same character, and I find that so interesting. I do think that in America, especially with anime, but also in original animation, it's mostly women play young prepubescent boys. Boys under 13, 14, almost always played by women or children, actual children. That's not the case in India.
So we've had two voices of Ash in English, both by female voice actors, and then both voices in India have been by male voice actors. So you're right, bang on.
Is that common in India?
No, I think it depends.
Okay.
I think it depends from a project. Like it might be the brief that the channel decides. So it actually depends. We've had both. We also have like fresh animation, which are voiced by female actors. But specifically for Ash Ketchum, it's always been male voice actors.
Always male. So do we show them?
So your voice. No, I was just asking, how do you change your voice? I mean, in terms of your voice, were you given a brief, or did you just come up with that voice? Of course, you had to match someone else's voice, but apart from that, how did you go about it?
Sure. Well, so I matched the voice. I had to listen very carefully and start talking in that voice. So I lower my pitch. I put it more in my mask and a little bit more in my nose, but without making it nasal. And it's a little bit raspier. He's a little bit more like. It's weird to do it not in a studio. Do you ever find that?
I do.
In a kitchen.
And I always find that voice outside of a studio may not sound the same. Like I always get this feeling that if I do it right now, people are going to say, "Hey, that's not the voice of Ash Ketchum." So I'm a little apprehensive doing it.
We have so much, guys. We have so much in common. It is crazy. It is absolutely insane. We have so many of the same insecurities about like doing that. Do it at a panel. I'm not really allowed to, so I don't do it anyway. But when a kid comes up to me and nobody's filming and they're like, do it, I do it, and I'm just like, did I just do that right? I'm not sure I did. So yeah, isn't that weird?
It is. And for me, it was exactly opposite, because I have to voice for a younger kid, like a child. Even though it's a male, it's a younger child. So I have to cut down the entire bass, whatever I have in my voice. So it's always going up. Like I have to pitch slightly higher. And it's funny because I started off as a child artist. So what would happen is I would voice for kids who were younger than I was. Like if I was 10 or 12 when I started voicing, I would have to voice for children who were like 5, 6. And the directors would always make me go higher and higher. And I kind of developed this style, which over a period of time I had to unlearn, because that's how I started speaking. Like whenever I used to dub in that kind of a high pitched voice.
Right.
So when I got a call from the producer saying that, hey, you know what, we are doing a show, you must have heard about Pokemon. I said, yeah, I used to do it in the first dub, a few characters here and there. Said, yeah, we want to cast you for the lead, but you'll have to do like a 10-year-old, so you have to pitch up your voice. And I'm like, oh, not again. Like
Not again.
now I can do it, but yeah. So yeah, it's the exact opposite that we do. You need to go a little lower, and then I need to cut down the entire bass that I have, so that I sound like Ash Ketchum.
What was it like for you, your first day? Do you remember it?
It was pretty much like you mentioned, it was more like just another job. I mean, I had done Pokemon. I wasn't, now I don't want to disappoint the fans here, but I wasn't like into Pokemon even when I did the earlier dub. So I was a fan, but not like a diehard fan of Pokemon. So I approached it like any other project. And then when it aired, I think it had like, it just, the TRPs were all over the place. It was the highest viewed show. And all of that happened in like a couple of months. And that's when I realized that, hold on, this is something different. Like this one, I didn't imagine that to be. And all the fans who used to tell me, hey, this is not the voice of Ash Ketchum, this is not the voice of Ash Ketchum. It's been, 7, 8 years that I've started doing it. And suddenly I start getting comments which say, you are the voice of Ash Ketchum from my childhood. And I'm like, what? These kids have grown up already? Yeah. So yeah, it's been a great journey.
Yeah, that's when it started for me, about 7, 8 years. Pokemon Go, the release of Pokemon Go in 2016, that's when things really started happening for me. Right. People started reaching out to me because Pokemon had this huge revival, you know, and not that it ever went away, but my goodness, the whole world was crazy. Pokemon Go.
and I think that's another interesting thing, that we don't really do it in India, because a lot of people in India do understand English, but games and maybe different stuff that you do apart from the anime show that airs on television. So do you maybe briefly just want to speak about what are the other things that you do in Ash Ketchum's voice apart from the anime show that airs on screen?
Disappointing. I'm not in any of the games. I might have done one, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Ash Ketchum never really shows up.
You're right. So Pokemon Go doesn't really have it, but I thought that there would be some video games where maybe there's like a commentary or stuff. But you've done it for other characters, right? I think
I play like 30 of the Pokemon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Chansey, Diglett, Baneri, Burmy. I want to memorize them all in alphabetical order. That's my next thing.
that probably can be your
Staravia.
That can be your New Year's resolution for next year. Yeah, the month of January, you can probably write them all down and then memorize them.
You can
any favorite Pokemon
on my website? Favorite Pokemon, of course.
Because now these are the questions that fans keep on asking. So I'm just guessing, which is your favorite Pokemon?
My favorite Pokemon, apart from Pikachu, which is my absolute favorite Pokemon, Meltan. I absolutely love the design. I love the voice. Samantha Cooper, wonderful actress. She does the voice of Meltan. It's so cute. And I just love the design. I love that little floating eye and this little blob. It's wonderful.
Question. So for Pokemon, do you, and again, a lot of fans would want to know this. So in the Hindi dub, we just retain the original voices of the Pokemon characters and we just do all the human characters. In English, are the Pokemon voiced, dubbed, or do they pick it up from the original Japanese? How does that go?
It depends on how the name is said, I think. I think that's what determines whether or not we do it. Pikachu is Pikachu. We don't touch Pikachu. But Chansey, I do Chansey because they have different names. If it's a different name, I think that's when it happens, when we have to dub it.
I think Jigglypuff, I think that's one which I like the most. Not just because everyone sleeps, but it's just that tone that she has when she sings. So I like that one. Is that in English or is that original?
That is a really good question.
Trick question.
I'm looking it up. Should I look it up?
No, that's all right. We can take that offline later. But yeah, so I do get a couple of other questions on a regular basis, and I'm just going to push that on you. So a lot of fans, and maybe let me just quickly take that in Hindi. तो बहुत लोग पूछते हैं कि Ash Ketchum की final last episode में girlfriend कौन होगी? Probably you caught a couple of English words, Sarah. You already know what I'm asking about. So is it Serena or is it May or is it Misty? Will Ash Ketchum end up with one of these or someone else? I'm like, I don't know, but maybe Sarah knows.
I don't know. I know that a lot of fans are very, very dead set on who they think Ash should be with.
And they keep fighting in the comment section. They're fighting right now. I don't know, but yeah, they keep fighting. That they've just made up their mind that that's going to be the final goal of Ash Ketchum. Whereas I think he just wants to win badges.
I think so. Yeah. Pretty sure.
And then on the show, I had another question. How was it? How was it? How was your feeling when Ash actually ended up winning one of the leagues? Because all the shows that I've dubbed, he's not won anything yet. So we are still behind. I'm sure you're aware that we started from season 1 and now we are doing everything one by one. So we are still about 6-7 seasons behind the ones that are being aired internationally. But you've already won a badge like Ash Ketchum in English. So how was that experience?
This was the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me on this show. To me as an actor watching myself being able to do this. Yes. It was a very momentous occasion, and I can't wait for everyone else to see whether or not it happens.
A lot of Indian fans have already watched it in English because they just couldn't hold back. So and then again I get a complaint saying, why are you not doing it in Hindi? We've watched him win it in English. We want to see how does he react in Hindi. So yeah, but that's again something which is beyond maybe our hands.
I know it is totally beyond our reach. This is not our department. I can't make anything happen. I'm sorry.
Right. All right. Next question, and I'm sure you might be asked this question a lot as well. So because you're the voice of Ash Ketchum, if you're doing some other characters which is like a similar male, I'm going to say 10 years again, a 10-year-old male character that you're voicing.
Yes.
Do you sometimes get a feedback that you're doing or sounding similar to Ash Ketchum, or you need to do something else, or it's the style that is very common, or
no, actually,
feedback yet?
I haven't gotten that. I don't think I've done the voice of like that voice and that character. I've definitely played a few characters that are in that boy range. But one was kind of a mopey guy, and he's just like, so that's not Ash.
Right.
And another one was like much higher and had a little bit of like a younger boy thing, and he just, let's go, like that kind of guy. So yeah, I haven't played anybody that's actually in Ash's direct range.
True. It's amazing how a little bit of change in the style that you speak, and also 50% of it is visuals. So because of the way that character is animated, I find it sometimes I sound similar is what I feel when I hear a couple of characters which are very similar in that age group. But I don't think a lot of fans complain. Like they feel that, oh, your voice, we could recognize it, but it felt a little different. So I always keep feeling that, is it sounding too similar to Ash? I need to change that style a bit. But yeah, Ash Ketchum has a very distinct style. So I don't think any other character that I've voiced or I may voice in the future will ever have that kind of a style. And again, thanks to you guys, it's easier to copy the English and then add a bit of Hindi flavor to it. So that's always easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. I think we are almost on the end of the hour. Do we want to invite Darrpan back?
Sure, why not?
Unless he is busy having a sandwich. I just saw that from the session. Darrpan.
You asked for me and I'm here.
Oh, great.
I was really enjoying this conversation. And I think looking at the count, looking at the viewer count that we have, I think this seems to be already a blockbuster session. And let me tell you, this is absolutely a historic moment for the Indian voice industry. We might have many more international voice artists joining us in years to come in multiple events. But Sarah, remember one thing, you will always be the first, and that's why the most special.
Thank you so much.
Sarah, do you know any bit of Hindi at all?
No.
Do you want me to teach you a few words? It might be good. So when we greet each other.
Namaste.
But it's funny, Darrpan. Oh, that's nice. But it's funny, Darrpan, because Sarah earlier today shared a post on Instagram, and that had a Mohammed Rafi's song in it. And I was like, what? Where did you get this from? So Sarah, any story behind it? Yeah.
He's a legend.
He's a legend. I first learned about him in an American movie, Ghost World, which I loved as a young person, and I need to rewatch it actually. Yeah, they played that song. They played the video of that song. It's so cool. And that's how I didn't watch any dubs, but I listened to Mohammed Rafi, and that's how I prepared for this. Yeah.
How lovely! How lovely is that? So you know, India has a very rich history, culture. The beautiful part about our country is the number of languages that we
Mhm.
speak. So you know, while Hindi is one of the major languages, but then there are so many. So India is many countries in one country.
Yeah,
If you go down south, I mean, we have almost 35 languages that are widely spoken.
amazing.
So, and will you believe it, Sarah, that we have many voice artists who single-handedly one person can dub maybe 15 languages.
Are you serious?
So absolutely,
Oh
and
my
you know
goodness.
they are a national treasure for the
I
voice industry.
bet. That's incredible. Are they very similar, or are they really? Is it like
Let me tell
English
you,
and
they
Italian?
are as similar as Latin and Chinese. They're chalk and cheese, absolutely. You know, that's the beauty about this country, and it's no surprise that India is the greatest country on the earth.
Yes, it is.
It's a funny story. So sometimes when maybe you bump into somebody who's an Indian outside of India, you probably speak with that person in English because both our mother tongues don't really match. So so yeah, that happens sometimes.
Hmm.
So incidentally, funnily, Sarah, that English has literally become a common language of sorts. And you know, and every I think there are more people speaking English in India than probably England and many countries put
Right.
together.
Right.
So which is amazing. But we love America as well.
That's great.
So like they say, God bless us and God bless the United States of America. So may God bless us all.
Thank you. God bless us all, and the Yankees as well. I love your cap.
Yankees as well. So okay, I'm not really I'm not really into American sports, but yes, God bless the Yankees as well. And I really wish that the coming months, you know, augur well for the country. And with the vaccine coming in, I really hope that this pandemic sees a brutal death,
Yes.
if I may say so, and things get better sooner than later.
Yes.
And you take care of yourself, take care of your family, and our best wishes. And you know, a big virtual hug from all of us in India, and a big thank you, Sarah, from the voice industry. And I hope that in the coming years, you know, whenever we have an event like this, I hope sometime we get to see you again.
I hope.
And I hope there is an opportunity to see you in person. I hope there comes a time when India Voice Fest becomes big enough for you to fly down from the United States to India.
That would be so fun. I would be honored. Thank you so
Lovely.
much.
And a big thank you to Chris. Chris, if you are watching us, if you're listening to us and listening to me, thank you for, you know, helping us reach out to Sarah. And it's been a lovely 1 hour with you, Sarah. Thank you so much. I think everyone has thoroughly enjoyed watching this session. Till next time, thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Sorry, one last thing, Darpan, before Sarah leaves. Sarah, do you want to do like one quick voice of Ash? Are you allowed to, or are we being too greedy?
We'll do. If we want to compare,
I had a lot of fans asking for it. So if you could do that, it'll be great.
So okay, so I go lower and you're going higher. I'll go
If
first.
you have the line, we can go on 1, 2, 3, and then let's just see if that fits in sync.
Let's just say, hi, how you doing? Let's do that.
Let's go.
1, 2, 3. Hi, how you
Kaise ho,
doing?
doston? Almost there.
It's really
I missed the high
similar.
there. It did.
Lovely. You guys almost matched lips, and a couple of frames we're gonna adjust. Don't worry
Here and
about
there.
it.
Yeah. Cool.
Lovely, Sarah. On that lovely note, bye bye and good night. No, I think that you have a great day. Rather,
Yes.
it's still some time before we say good night to our viewers, but you have a great day ahead, Sarah.
You too. Have a wonderful evening. Take care. Thank you for
Bye-bye.
having me.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Hanji, so this was what do you say, दोस्तों? ये तो बड़ा मजा आ गया. You know, this was an absolutely historic moment, a momentous occasion for the Indian voice industry. We had such an amazing superstar voice artist from directly from the United States of America, Sarah Natochenny, and we had our own desi star Nachiket Dighe. और कितना मजा आया, मजे की बातें की. You know, एक बड़े कमाल की बात ये हुई कि इनसे बात करके पता चला कि यार रंग अलग है, भाषा अलग है, पर कहानी तो सेम ही है, स्ट्रगल्स भी सेम है, और इस कला को लेकर इनके विचार भी कितने सिमिलर हैं. और कितने कमाल की बात थी, कितनी प्यारी और कितनी मधुर इंसान थी सैरा नाटोचेनी. शी वाज सो अमेजिंग एंड आई थिंक वी शुड ऑल बी वेरी थैंकफुल टू हर. और ये सेशन अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ है क्योंकि कुछ बाकी है, कुछ बहुत ही प्यारा बाकी है. पहली बात तो ये कि आज का दिन बड़ा गजब का रहा. शाम को हमने शुरुआत की ऋषिकेश कनन के साथ, फिर राहुल मुलानी के साथ वॉइस ओवर वर्कशॉप, और उसके बाद तो मोना शेट्टी के साथ मोना का मैजिक. एंड द आइसिंग ऑन द केक आई थिंक वाज दिस सेशन विद सैरा नाटोचेनी. और अब एक छोटा सा फीचर, इसके पहले कि हम एक दूसरे को अलविदा कहें आज के लिए. आज चौथा दिन है इंडिया वॉइस फेस्ट का. टुमारो विल बी डे 5 एंड टुमारो इट्स गोइंग टू बी अमेजिंग, क्योंकि कल शाम को 5 बजे बड़े कमाल का सेशन होने वाला है, लेट्स टॉक बिजनेस, जहां पर एनगा फंडसे और आदित्य माथुर दोनों बड़े गजब के वॉइस आर्टिस्ट हैं. और एनगा फंडसे तो हाई कोर्ट की लॉयर हैं, तो लीगल जो राइट्स होते हैं वॉइस आर्टिस्ट के और हमारे काम को लेकर बहुत सारी बातें डिस्कस करेंगे. तो इसको आप सुनिएगा जरूर, क्योंकि बड़ी ज्ञानवर्धक बातें होंगी. और उसके बाद लिव लव एंड लाफ विद प्राची मायकर. प्राची जो एक बहुत ही प्रख्यात वॉइस आर्टिस्ट के साथ साथ एक बहुत ही मशहूर मोटिवेशनल और ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ट्रेनर भी हैं, वो हमसे बात करेंगी. और जिंदगी के उतार चढ़ाव को कैसे सहें और कैसे जिंदगी के मजे लें और जिंदगी की इस नैया को, इस समंदर से कैसे गुजारें, इस पर हमसे बातें करेंगी. और उसके बाद 7 बजे डब शॉप गपशप, ये बड़े कमाल का सेशन होगा जहां पर हमारी इंडस्ट्री के कुछ लीडिंग डबिंग प्रोड्यूसर्स और डायरेक्टर्स बातें करेंगे एक दूसरे के साथ. और इस सेशन में राजश्री शर्मा ऑडियोमैजिक की, शाहुल हमीद एसएच प्रोडक्शंस के और सुंदर सेतुरमन फ्रॉम द वॉइस बैंक विल हैव अ डिस्कशन जो मॉडरेट करेंगे. उपलक्ष कोचर जो बहुत ही एक मशहूर और पॉपुलर वॉइस आर्टिस्ट हैं. और उसके बाद 8 बजे दोस्तों एक और हिस्टोरिक मोमेंट होने वाला है, क्योंकि स्ट्रेट फ्रॉम कैलिफोर्निया से आएंगी एन गैंगूजा, जो एक अवार्ड विनिंग अमेरिकन वॉइस ओवर आर्टिस्ट हैं और वॉइस ट्रेनर हैं और साथ में एक पॉडकास्टर हैं. और एन गैंगूजा के साथ सेशन होगा हमारा, जो होगा रात को 8 बजे कल. और इस वक्त एक बहुत ही प्यारा सेशन तो नहीं, एक बहुत ही प्यारा फीचर. हमने आपसे बात की थी कल, मेरी आवाज ही पहचान है इस सेशन की, जिसमें कल हमने फीचर किया था मनिनी डे को और आज शाम को हमने फीचर किया मयूर व्यास को. और अब हमारे साथ हैं एक बहुत ही प्यारी आवाज, बहुत ही यंग लड़की, उभरती हुई कलाकार, बड़ी ही पॉपुलर वॉइस आर्टिस्ट. उनका नाम है सुवेला शर्मा, बल्कि उनकी मदर जो हैं वो सुनीता शर्मा, वो बड़ी ही प्रख्यात वॉइस आर्टिस्ट हैं और लैंग्वेज ट्रेनर भी हैं. और सुवेला शर्मा से हमने बात की, एक छोटा सा 4 मिनट का एक इंटरव्यू है उनके साथ, देखिएगा, जिसमें वो बताती हैं उनके करियर के बारे में, उनके विचारों के बारे में. और इस फीचर का नाम है, जैसे मैंने कहा, मेरी आवाज ही पहचान है. आइए मिलते हैं सुवेला शर्मा से.
हाय, दिस इज सुवेला शर्मा. मैं एक वॉइस ओवर आर्टिस्ट हूँ और मैं इस प्रोफेशन में 3.5 सालों से. द मोस्ट मेमोरेबल और मोस्ट डिफाइनिंग प्रोजेक्ट, इट हैज टू बी एनोला होम्स. Without any second thought, it has to be Enola Homes. It was done in Mayukhi and it was done under the supervision of Anjali. Okay, so as an artist, आपको एक कैरेक्टर में जितने शेड्स मिलते हैं परफॉर्म करने के लिए, आपको उतना मजा आता है. And Enola Homes was exactly what an artist would love to do. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. So Enola Homes is something जिसमें मुझे emotional, angry, खुशी, सब कुछ, all sentiments, all shades, सब कुछ करने को मिला. So definitely it has to be Enola Homes. My most memorable and defining project till now. Always remember 3 C's. Command, clarity and connect. So first is command. Command is basically command on your language. आप जो भी लैंग्वेज में डब कर रहे हो उसमें आपकी कमांड अच्छी होनी चाहिए, so that you know कि उसकी सही ग्रामर क्या है, सही वर्ड क्या है और कौन सी जगह पे कौन सा वर्ड यूज होना चाहिए. So command is very important in a voice over or a dubbing. Second is clarity. Clarity in your words. अगर आपके वर्ड्स क्लियर नहीं है, अगर आपके वर्ड्स में क्लैरिटी नहीं है, तो आपका डायलॉग क्लियर साउंड नहीं करेगा, आपका इमोशन क्लियरली नहीं समझ में आएगा. सो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू हैव क्लैरिटी इन योर वर्ड्स. Thirdly, connect. So connect is you should connect to your character. इफ यू कनेक्ट टू योर कैरेक्टर तो ऑटोमेटिकली आप वो सारे इमोशंस प्ले कर पाओगे जो आपका कैरेक्टर एक्ट कर रहा है. सो यू शुड कनेक्ट टू योर कैरेक्टर ऑलवेज. Who inspires me the most in this industry? First and foremost, it has to be my mom, Sunita Sharma. I have grown up looking at her work. मुझे बचपन में बिल्कुल नहीं पसंद थी वॉइसिंग, डबिंग. मैं रोती थी, मैं झगड़ती थी अगर मम्मी मुझे किसी एक लाइन के लिए भी ले जाती थी ना कहीं पर. आई यूज टू क्राई, आई यूज टू फाइट कि मुझे क्यों लेकर जा रहे हो. बट नाउ व्हेन आई हैव स्टार्टेड लविंग माई वर्क, my profession, and अब मैं इस इंडस्ट्री में आ गई हूँ, so I really look up to her work. Secondly, someone whose voice, whose work I really admire is Toshi Sinha ji. I love her voice. I mean, उनकी आवाज crystal clear आवाज है. I love her work. I love her voice actually. And actually अब बाकी भी जो जितने भी वॉइस आर्टिस्ट हैं ना, आप सबसे कुछ ना कुछ सीख सकते हो. आप सबकी परफॉर्मेंसेस को अगर आप देखो बैठकर, सो यू विल लर्न सो मेनी न्यू थिंग्स, सो मेनी थिंग्स जो आप अपने काम में अडैप्ट कर सकते हैं. सो यू शुड एक्चुअली लर्न फ्रॉम एवरीवन जिसको भी आप देखते हैं, जिससे भी आप मिलते हैं. सो एवरीवन इज सो टैलेंटेड इन दिस इंडस्ट्री. बट या, these two are my favorites. India Voice Fest is such an important, such a big platform for every one of you all. अगर आप एक आर्टिस्ट बनना चाहते हैं या अगर आप एक आर्टिस्ट ऑलरेडी हैं तो आप डेफिनेटली आने वाले हैं. बट अगर आप एक आर्टिस्ट बनना चाहते हैं तो आपको आना चाहिए, आपको देखना चाहिए कि यहाँ सब एक साथ आकर कैसे एक दूसरे के काम को चेरिश करते हैं, अप्रिशिएट करते हैं, और कैसे एक दूसरे के साथ अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस को शेयर करते हैं, अपने हार्ड वर्क, अपनी जर्नी. और इतने बड़े बड़े लोग आपको खुद अपनी जर्नी के बारे में बताएंगे, अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस के बारे में बताएंगे कि वो आज अपने मुकाम तक, इस इतने बड़े मुकाम तक कैसे पहुंचे हैं. सो आई एम श्योर कि आपको बहुत मजा आएगा. आई प्रॉमिस यू. सो कम and join India Voice Fest. Be a part of it and live it.
ये थी सुविला शर्मा, बहुत ही यंग प्रॉमिसिंग आर्टिस्ट हैं और बड़ा अच्छा लगा इनसे मिलके. आई होप आपको भी इनके बारे में जानने को मिला. देखिए, यही इस मंच की खूबसूरती है कि चाहे आप एस्पायरिंग आर्टिस्ट हो, चाहे अपकमिंग आर्टिस्ट हो, पॉपुलर आर्टिस्ट हो या फिर कोई दिग्गज हो, आई थिंक हर आर्टिस्ट की या हर वॉइस इंडस्ट्री से जुड़े हर शख्स के लिए पहचान का और मिलने का एक मंच है इंडिया वॉइस फेस्ट. 9:10 हो रहे हैं. अगर आपने अभी खाना नहीं बनाया है, किसी कारण से आपको लगता है यू वांट टू ऑर्डर अ टेक अवे, तो मैडो और मसाला को कंसिडर कीजिए. मैडो और मसाला इज एन ऑनलाइन फूड डिलीवरी सर्विस. जोमैटो पे इनकी 4+ की रेटिंग है और बहुत ही शानदार जगह है फॉर लिप स्मैकिंग फूड. इनफैक्ट एक छोटा सा मैडो और मसाला का वीडियो प्ले करते हैं, देखिए.
Mad Over Masala, your favorite online food delivery service. A multi-cuisine food service that promises lip-smacking food in the comfort of your home or office. We are also 100% safety and hygiene certified by Equinox. Order now and you'll always say yes to us. Call now 022 685 75758. Also available on Zomato. Mad Over Masala.
हाँ जी, तो आज का दिन तो बड़े कमाल का था. इट वॉज Day 4, पता ही नहीं चल रहा है और देखते देखते 4 दिन निकल गए. हर शाम हम और आप साथ में बिता रहे हैं और ये रिश्ता और मजबूत होते जा रहा है. जब आखिरी दिन होगा तब पता नहीं क्या होने वाला है, क्योंकि अगले हफ्ते बड़ा एक विड्रॉल सिम्टम्स होंगे हम सबको, आई एम श्योर. तो आज का दिन बड़े कमाल का था. और दोस्तों, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर ज्वाइनिंग. आप अपनी हर शाम हमें दे रहे हैं. आई होप आपको इंडिया वॉइस फेस्ट बहुत पसंद आ रहा है. बहुत मेहनत की है सबने, पूरी इंडस्ट्री एक साथ आई है आपसे मिलने, आपके साथ बातें करने, आपके साथ ज्ञान बांटने, और यही इस मंच का उद्देश्य है. तो कल मिलते हैं शाम को 5 बजे. 5 से लेकर रात को 9, साढ़े 9 बजे तक हमारा फिर से एक दिन हंगामा होगा. और अगर आप लोग चाहें तो indiavoicefest.com पर जाकर आप ये इंडिया वॉइस फेस्ट की मर्चेंडाइज ऑर्डर कर सकते हैं. ये डायरी है, बहुत ही खूबसूरत, कस्टमाइज एक्सक्लूसिव डायरी है और ये बहुत ही खूबसूरत इंडिया वॉइस फेस्ट के मग हैं और ये एक इंडिया वॉइस फेस्ट के कोस्टर्स का सेट है। हर कोस्टर पर एक बहुत प्यारा कोट लिखा हुआ है। यू विल रियली एंजॉय दिस ऑन योर डेस्क। तो जैसा कि मैंने हमेशा कहा है, इंडिया वॉइस फेस्ट की मर्चेंडाइज खरीदिए। इस तरह से आप इंडिया वॉइस फेस्ट का एक हिस्सा अपने पास रख पाएंगे एंड दिस इज अ ग्रेट वे टू शो अ टोकन ऑफ योर सपोर्ट फॉर दिस मूवमेंट। कल मिलते हैं, तब तक के लिए अपना ध्यान रखिए। गुड नाइट, टेक केयर ऑफ योरसेल्फ एंड ऑल द बेस्ट एंड थैंक यू फ्रॉम द इंडिया वॉइस फेस्ट टीम। बाय बाय।